Hey guys, this is Jenny at healthluminary.com, and today I'm so excited to talk to you about the thyroid. But before I get there, I want to tell you two things first. The first one is that any information you get from this video or materials, they're meant to be for educational purposes only, and it's not meant to replace the advice of your doctor. So if you intend to implement a protocol on yourself off of the information you get here, I highly suggest that you consult with your physician or doctor first, okay? And then the second thing is that I just want to give you some background of who I am. I should have done this on an earlier video, but I'll just go ahead and do it now. So I have an engineering background, and I worked for NASA for about 14 years until the spring of last year. I decided to make some changes. I started to pursue my passion for helping people regain control of their health holistically and naturally. So without any hesitation, I jumped into a very good program and started learning all about functional nutrition. So fast forwarding to today, I'm actually about this close to graduating and becoming a certified FDN practitioner. So I'm currently doing my final exams now, and I'm not even halfway done. It's a 3-part process: written, practical, and verbal. So the next few weeks I'm going to be busy. I just really need to buckle down and study and finish. So if you don't see me hanging out on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, there's my why right there. It's a very big why. That's my reason. But I just really need to get this done. So that's me in a nutshell. Let's go ahead and jump into the topic of the day, okay? And that is about the thyroid. So just some basic information about the thyroid. It's part of the endocrine system, and it's located in our neck. It looks like a butterfly, and its main function for existing is to create thyroid hormones T4 and T3, because those two hormones support our metabolism. The other thing that it also does is that it regulates calcium levels, but we're not going to cover that part here. We're going to mainly talk about T4 and T3. So in order to gain some better understanding about how the thyroid works, I thought I'd create this diagram for you. I'm no Monet here, okay, so excuse my sketches. But mainly this is called the hypothalamus pituitary thyroid axis. So these are the main players that are always communicating with one another in order to create T4 and T3. So it all starts in the hypothalamus. It receives information from the environment or from within the body. And if it's sensing that it's low, if the body is low on a particular hormone, such as the thyroid, it then makes its own hormones called thyrotropin releasing hormone, TRH. That hormone is sent over to the pituitary, and then the pituitary responds to the hypothalamus by creating its own and releasing its own hormones as well, called TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. These two, by the way, are located in our brain. And then that TSH is sent over to the thyroid, and then thyroid responds by making its own hormones, T4 and T3. So pituitary and thyroid, there's always a feedback going on between the two, because this is their way of controlling and regulating for homeostasis purposes. So if the thyroid needs more hormones, it's gonna communicate with the pituitary, hey, I need more TSH, send some over. And the pituitary responds in kind and sends over the TSH, and then thyroid makes the T4 and T3. The most abundant of the two is the T4. I think it's about 20-1. The thing with T4 is that it is not something that our body can readily utilize. So right here is the liver. T4 has to be converted to T3. And the way it does that is using this enzyme called the iodinase enzyme. So T4 has 4 iodine atoms, and the way the enzyme works is that it takes away 1 iodine atom, and that converts it to T3. Along with that, T4 also is converted to 3 other inactive forms of T3. One is reverse T3, T3 acetic acid, and T3 sulfate. The good news, here's the good news, T3 acetic acid and T3 sulfate are later reactivated by our gut flora. So if your gut flora is working at its optimum, there's no dysbiosis, and it's pretty strong, it can definitely reactivate those T3 acetic acid and sulfate to T3, which our bodies can actually utilize. That's a great thing. So our body has these redundant systems. Pretty cool. So back here in the T3, in the liver, T3 has to be bound with TBG, thyroid binding globulin. TBG is actually created in the liver as well. The reason why for that is because T3 is not water soluble, so in order for it to travel efficiently in the blood vessel or in the bloodstream, it has to be bound with TBG. And once that's bound, it creates this T3 TBG complex, and then it can now be safely transported in the bloodstream so that it can go to all the parts of our body. And right here at the cellular level, T3 is then going to those receptor sites. Receptor sites are like these hub stations with stems in them. And it's basically a landing site for hormones to the cells. So that's their way of entering into the cell. So the cell, the great thing about it is that it can upregulate or downregulate its receptor sites, meaning it can actually dynamically adjust the number of receptor sites in the cells according to the need of the body. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So anyway, the T3 goes into the cell and acts on that nucleus which houses our DNA, and from there it creates a metabolic effect. So you don't even have to tell the cells what to do. It just knows its jobs, its function, and it just does what it does. There's a living machinery inside of our cells. So it's really, really cool. So essentially, I'm sure you've heard of the terms hyperthyroidism and hypothyroidism. Basically what this is telling you is that if there is an overproduction of thyroid hormones, that is typically associated with hyperthyroidism. And if there is an underproduction of thyroid hormones, then that is typically associated with hypothyroidism. With hypothyroidism, you may see some related symptoms such as cold hands, cold feet. You're the only one that's cold in the room and everyone else is just feeling fine. Feeling fatigued even after you've already rested for 8+ hours. Okay, those are just the common related symptoms. So, and then with hyperthyroidism, you may see some related symptoms such as feeling hot all the time. You just cannot feel. You just don't feel relieved. You're just feeling hot, and also feeling restless. Or also there could be some heart palpitations also. Okay, so what kind of tests can you actually run to figure out if your thyroid is balanced or if it's working efficiently? Well, there are many ways. Currently, right now, if you actually go to your doctor, what you will see, the common marker that they will run is the TSH. To me, it's not enough information to let me know if my thyroid is working well, because the TSH is producing the pituitary. It's not even produced in the thyroid. So I would ask your doctor if he or she can run other markers such as reverse T3. I would also do some, free T3 and free T4. Other markers also are good markers would be like looking for thyroid peroxidase serum, and that is actually the substance that actually makes T3 and T4 in the thyroid gland. So it's a good thing to see that is being produced in your thyroid. Another good one are thyroid antibodies. So, talk to your doctor and see if they can run those things for you so that you'll have a better understanding and better idea if your thyroid is really working well. You can also go to functionaldiagnosticnutrition.com and find some FDN practitioners that can actually help you and guide you with running those markers. So just FYI, those markers can be run by a certified FDN practitioner as well. Okay, and then here's another very inexpensive and it's free method that you can do from home. I posted this on my Facebook, so if you go to facebook.com/Jenny of Health Luminary, I gave some suggestions on charting your basal body temperature. That is really your temperature, your body temperature at rest, and the best time to get that is when you wake up in the morning before you do anything. So you basically chart 5 consecutive days of your body temperature, basal body temperature. You add them up and get the average. And if your average is less than 97.8, most likely your thyroid could be sluggish. So, but again, I prefer to actually use a test because I don't like to do guesswork, and I just really prefer that testing is a better way to figure out where your set points are when it comes to the thyroid. But the basal body temperature will give you an idea, of course, where things are. Anyway, I'm running out of time, and there is a part 2 to my video, so stay tuned for that, and I will actually tell you some things that you can do to keep your thyroid healthy and pumping, from your own home. It's natural, simple ways. Okay, so stay tuned, guys.